Welcome to Akhand Vidyashram, the first institute of impeccable wisdom. Let's discuss about Divyank Ratio. I have given few numbers here. We will discuss about these numbers as we proceed. And I am making a statement. This is a perfect golden ratio values. Something which has never been done in the history of mankind till 2015. Now, let me explain few intuitive questions. Is the golden ratio 1.6180 a ratio? Very clear. You call it golden ratio, but it's only 1.618. How can you call 1.618 a statement as a ratio? Is my question, which is very simple. Now I am raising a few questions about golden ratio. Are the following formulas a genuine ratio? Like 1.618 is one thing. Second thing, a concept of 1.6180339877. Both are statements. They are not in a ratio because ratio has to have two sides. I do agree, long side but divided by this side is this, but you are three equal. But at least it should be made very clear that is 1 into 1.618 or 1.6180334. This is a very simple question, but anyway, since we are looking for something very precise, concise to the thing, we should also be clear the way we express. Now, I am again starting from whenever in doubt, I watch the cosmos because I see uniformity. In this particular picture, I am seeing a omniscient, omnipresent, perfect universe, and which is my teacher. But when I see in this particular picture, I know there is a length and breadth involved in this picture. So I would say length and breadth forms a ratio. Very true. Now I do say I have my body have made of 10 this and spiral system also 10 suns. We have understood that. Now as far as Tattvamasi is concerned, I have again been saying I am very fond of this statement which it says everything is identical and identical should have a mathematical design. So my whole concept starts around Ganit Vidya. Now explanation of Divyank I have already said. We are going to explain this concept. This is going to be last in the series of spiritual science exploration of the universe as such. Now, when I say an exploration Divyank, why do I say? Because the divine design of nature is not known as such. The whole concept of Divyank is to recognize, conceive, and reveal the divine design of nature for the first time. And making one point very clear from my observation of nature of the world as such, there are three stages of manifestation. Every object is presented. First stage is creation, second stage is stage development, and third is maturation, something which I am very clear about. Now, as I said, the first stage of creation is called Brahmank. Brahma means first, the primal point or number, and its orbit of 21 into 22 dimension. I have already explained. This is what has come as the first stage. I have proven it that 22 by 21 is something which is talked in Vedas, Upanishads and scriptures, and also science and medical sciences. Everywhere you see the same concept. So the uniformity of spirituality and science has been very clear that first stage of creation is equivalent to 22 by 21. Then second is the development stages. There are only 10, not 9 and 11 is also something I have proven it again. Let's stick to 22 by 21 to the power of 10. These are two stages as such, which are absolutely no doubt if you are looking observed mathematically correctly. Otherwise, let's forget about philosophy, thoughts and emotions. Now up to that information I had already given in Akhand in 2002 itself. So the copyrights of 22 by 21 to the power of 10 I had received in this book in 2002 itself. But as far as the third stage of creation or maturation is concerned, I was not aware at that stage, so that was left blank. It took me another 12, 13 years to find that number as a Shivank, which I have described as we move to the next stage. When come to the Ganit Vidya, I start again because I am a mathematician, I am an artist, I am a medical doctor, I understand divine mathematics, I understand physics, I understand chemistry, I understand everything. Unless until we know the divine mathematics as designed by nature as one part, which is absolutely no dispute at all, and that is Divyank, and that is the starting from Ganit Vigya. Now from there we have start the divine mathematics. We are going to see how I unfolded. Now as the Indian mathematics, Brahmins conceived the Brahmins divine mathematics. They taught it to Zoroastrians. Zoroastrian taught Indian mathematics to Arabs. Arab modified into algorithms. Arab taught modified mathematics to the West. West gave it a new man-made format and patented. West taught man-made mathematics to the world, and that mathematics is being followed everywhere, and that is defective, defective, and defective. We need to rectify it. We need to go back to divine mathematics of the Brahmins of Akhand Bharat and then see how nature did it. They did it very well in Vedas, Upanishads, and other scriptures, in Sanskrit scriptures, and we need to go back and apply that hereafter. So right up to this particular thing, I have shown spiritual science as revealed by the ancient Indian sages or Brahmins of Akhand Bharat. Now we are seeing hereafter going to see the applied part in all the sciences of 64 nature from the next video onward. Now as of zero, who discovered zero? I have already explained. It is not Aryabhatta. He did not invent it. Zero was known as Shunya from the very beginning, right from Rig Veda itself. And everything started from there, is maintained by that, and goes back to that, is something I have explained. The whole beauty of concept of dot, circle, a sphere as a Shunya, as a dot, zero starts only from Akhand Bharat, not from anywhere else. Then come to the question of, as far as the Fibonacci sequence is concerned, is the most manifestation we see in the plant kingdom primarily. And the number here you can see very clearly starts from 0 again and then 1, and that is binary system which computers are applying. That whole thing started from India, and the whole sequence goes in. But although Fibonacci sequence was revealed to the world in this form in 1202 by Leonardo, but he has said it was an Indian origin, goes back to Indians, and it starts from beginning itself. And I have explained that concept very clearly in other things, how Indians had conceived it, and given a graphic presentation by Maharishi Yajnavalkya himself, and many other sages have done it. Then comes the question of golden ratio. I have seen this particular thing. I have brought those things where dimensions, but numbers are not shown. These are divination, and that I have said it is not correct because 1.61 is too simple and otherwise too complicated. Both are defective. It is not perfect. That is the question which I raise, and we need impeccable wisdom. We need not have two numbers. Divine uses only one thing, and that is what I have been saying from the very beginning. When I look at a cosmos, I see the uniformity, and that uniformity I see the divine mathematics, and that is Divyank. Now, how I reveal the mathematical length and breadth very clearly using the same formula as a Divyank rectangle, not as a golden rectangle. Golden rectangle has given different numbers which are not perfect, but the perfect is 100 by 161.8034, and I've shown how exactly I did it. And I'm sure anybody and everybody could have done it, provided they use the ancient Indian mathematics, including Pythagorean theorem, to do it very well, simply mentally, mathematically itself. Then how I reveal that thing for the first time as the making of the thing, I've shown that first square of 100 into 100, divided two rectangles, then hypotenuse and found the value, and number I have given is very clear. This could have been done very clearly by anybody. Then come to the question of infinity number from Divyank. I find 61.8034 is an infinite number, not the one given by anybody and everybody otherwise. I am not crediting, but even by Ramanujan's number is correct up to 100 and 200 as up to minus into 1 by 12. But I don't agree, it does not solve, because infinity should have consistent number, it should not converge, diverge and merge at any stage, and that's it. And 618034 is the one which both involution and evolution goes on without merging at any stage, and that's it. Now this is an infinity number, I have already explained. It's a never ending dynamic, Divyank infinity. Now I have shown also Dasavatar are the 10 stages in this particular, which represent 10 stages of development in this particular thing, compared to what is known in India, where unfortunately, and I am making it very clear, I mean very clear, Buddha does not fit into Vishnu's Dasavatar because he is not Buddha's incarnation. I would give brother of Krishna as Balram in place of Buddha as the 8th stage and show these 10 stages as such, and I have a complete concurrence with this is as such. Now how I have done the Divyank ratio, 100 into 100 as the first square, then semicircle of 100, then reduced it by 6180, and then further reduced, and found with the 10 reductions by 61.8034, I came to one number little plus, but not exactly 1. But 11th one was less than 1, so as a result 10 stages is the inverse Divyank ratio or infinity number. Now come to the question of Shivank, 0.34419 with the 5 digits which represent 5 heads of Lord Shiva, and this is the third stage of maturation which completes itself. So let's say Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva are the three concepts. Together they form the unity. They are not separate gods when they said, I want method this particular concept to be considered. Vishnu, Shiv and Brahma, all the three are together. Only together they complete Srishti. By themselves, no. First one creates it, second maintains it, third one dissolves it and regenerates it. And I think that's a beautiful divine mathematics without any confusion, and that is what Sanatana Dharma always talked about it. We should respect Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu, Lord Shiva as one, and only then we will know the divine mathematics as such with which the nature is designed, and then we can move on to produce applied science to see at our level, human anatomy to vegetable, plant, everything, so that we could be perfectly healthy, wealthy, wise and perfect human beings. Now come to the honest admission. Precise decimal was not known is something which I have said. Dimensions of Divya rectangle has given that revealed, and I am talking about not even to me till 2002, but now it is easier to divide 161 and then find the value of 21 to the power of 10, then go and find the third stage was much easier. It was a challenging job for me and nothing, but today's equipments are sophisticated, so are the softwares. We can do wonderful calculations sitting at home. It took 2 days and the result was phenomenal, and it was 0.34419. Having, and I found that these 5 numbers put together is also that shows this is the beginning and the end at the same time. It is the first start of 21, ends with 21, is again amazing thing how divine mathematics actually works. And no wonder Lord Shiva is called the Lord of Dissolution, and it ends with 21 and starts again with the 21. So it's the end and the beginning of everything. Adi Ant Prabhu. I think that is also very concept. And I think that made my job much easier to move on step by step. Now the question of the golden ratio. My first deficiency is 1.618034 as a number itself is infinite number of digits, and they are confusing. They are highly confusing, misleading for anybody who is too lengthy for anyone to remember mentally and do any projection or even research by any scientist by and large. Without even with a sophisticated thing, it has not given the right answers. My first hypothesis, universe may be infinite, but perfect objects or divine natures are limited, finite, and shape and size. That is what I am talking about, length and breadth. So divine golden ratio should have a limited digits, not infinite, not too little. 1.618 is too short and this is too long. Both are defective. That's my point. Now I am revealing the divine ratio or Divyank ratio or golden ratio, the most approximate value, as 1 into 1.618034. Now I have made one point very clear, is 1 and 1.6180. That becomes a ratio, not 1.6180. The perfect value is 38.1966 plus 61.8034. As you say very clearly, 38.1966 plus 61.8034 is 100. The square of the second is 61. Now again showing something very unique. First, both numbers put together to be 100, very clear. Second thing is square of 61.80, which I call infinite constant, is you take a square of that is 100 times the value of the second one. Can you imagine this kind of thing in any other ratio in the world? And I would say no, no, no. Only nature has a perfection. Man-made comes with defects, and defect will continue to be defect, and I am trying to rectify that, and I make it very clear. I am supported by the divinity. I am only an instrument. I raise the question, my Antaratma gives me the answers, and with that answer verify and give it to the world as such. And this is again a beautiful thing in Divyank ratio as far as the ratio is concerned. Now I am going to show you the same thing in a beautiful form. This particular picture, you can see a 5-star thing. You can see red line on top, which is equivalent to 1.618034. So that's the first point. Then you see the green line on the left side. You see very clearly, I put it in green, is equivalent to 100. So 100 into 100 is a Divyank ratio. Red and green is a Divyank ratio. Then 100 to come to the next is the blue line, which is 61.8034. That shows the ratio of 100 into this is again Divyank ratio. Then go to the fourth stage. You find a violet line at 38.1966. And this ratio is again, same thing continues. And that is what I said. That is the Divyank ratio we should see, and that is what is going to be applied and hereafter. And that is what I am trying to show very clearly. We have come to the stage to realize the beauty of universal consciousness as it is. And knowing that, we should apply that in day-to-day mathematics and show how beautifully Divyank ratio is going to be seen in anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, psychology, everywhere. And maintaining that, we can maintain a perfectly healthy, wealthy, wise and happy life, and that exactly is the objective hereafter in applied sciences you are going to see hereafter. Now we are going to finish the spiritual science aspect as done by the nature as such from mathematics, given the world Divyank, Divyank ratio, Divyank constant, Divyank infinity, Divyank sequence and all rectangle, etc. If confusion has been completely done with it. Now we need to prove it. This entire world science, from mathematics, physics, chemistry to medical sciences to all the 64 arts, this is what is applied in a perfect human being as such, and I am concentrating again on perfect human being. I am not concentrating on any other animal, because that is not area of my concern. My concern is only we human beings are designed to be perfect, and being a perfect, we should lead the work with perfection, so there is no deficiency whatsoever. And with that, I move on to the next stage. This particular thing, everything is there. I am not going to talk of it. We will talk of this as we move in applied science hereafter. And I can tell you, from tomorrow onward, you are going to see beauty of anatomy, physiology, biochemistry and psychology for perfect health. And I make it very clear. If you want to be healthy, wealthy, wise and happy, without any deficiency, difficulty of any nature, rich in money, power, health, wealth and wisdom, and very clear, and do wonderful job without anything, you are going to see that apply this part of last 20 videos into something more and precise and concise thereafter. So with that, I come to the end. I think this is simple. Thank you very much.